Hi, welcome to In the Loop. We are in Soho with photographer Janette Beckman at her studio, and we're going to be talking about her new blog.
I decided to start a blog finally after years of not really thinking that I wanted to do a blog. You know, that whole thing that everybody has an opinion and mine isn't really would be more valid than anybody else's. But finally, after some consideration, I realized that it maybe was the time for me to actually go through my archive. So I started my blog, which is called Archive of Attitude. I'm trying to, something will happen in the news, let's say like the London riots, recent London riots, and it actually made me remember that I'd been there at the aftermath of the Brixton riots, which happened in 1981. So I went back in my archive and actually scanned some images that I'd never even really looked at since I'd actually shot them. And, I found some great images of people boarding up buildings on Electric Avenue, back from 1981. And also, it made me think about that song, the special song Ghost Town, which seems to be kind of like an anthem specifically for these riots. And it was an anthem then in 1981, so I posted a picture of the specials. And I just recently blogged about an NWA photo that I shot that is going to be in a museum exhibit, and I was asked to do the audio for it, and basically they asked me to take out the N-word and the F-word, and because it might upset people. So I'm sort of blogging about that and how, politically conscious or not, I don't really think it's right, because it's not in the spirit of a document. I'm sort of a documentary photographer in a way, documentary portrait, and to me that kind of thing is wrong. So I think I'm just going to keep blogging and, telling stories about my images, and also, keeping an eye on politics and the news like I've always done, and trying to relate the two, and also, working with my new clients. I have a new sunglasses company client that we're going to actually go and do street portraits, which is going to be really interesting. And that relates to a street portrait project that I did in the 1990s in New York, which was like a 4-year project. Nobody's ever seen it. So I'm looking forward to posting some of those. And I have a book on some Mexican gang pictures that I took back in the early 80s. It's coming out, published by this brilliant Dashwood Books. So I'm going to be blogging about that and my experiences of being in East LA in 1983. I'm just going to use it for general expression, I guess.
I think it's interesting how you're marrying the work that you've done over the years with new projects, things like lookbooks for a swimsuit company. You mentioned Kangol on the blog. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Recently, various streetwear companies and also swimsuit company, even more recently, have come to me. They like my punk pictures, or they like my hip-hop pictures. They like the attitude of the people in the pictures, stuff I shot maybe 20 years ago. And they want me to translate that into their brands. So Kangol is maybe one of my best clients, and we actually shot a catalogue in London using a band and some musicians rather than using models, which is great. And I think it creates a kind of realism, which is really cool. And I'm sort of, it's kind of great to recreate that kind of punk attitude now on contemporary people and have that flavor.